Welcome to Rodas Live. I'm your host, Rodas. Today I have a very special guest, Miss Erica Gilchrist. Please tell the listeners of Rodas Live a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, first of all, Rodis, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your unrecyclable time. And for those of you who are listening, I appreciate your unrecyclable time too. You can't get that back, and you're choosing it. You're choosing to spend it with us. So, I don't take that responsibility lightly. What can I tell you about me? My goodness. Okay, I'm Erica Gilchrist, born and raised on the South Side of Chicago, South Side 60628. I'm gonna go ahead and hail from the South Side like that. I have been in business now since January 18th, 1999. So this year made 25 years in business. And what I do for a living is exactly what you hear me doing right now. I run my mouth. I am a professional speaker and I travel globally as well as virtually. And I do presentations on various subject matters. It could be leadership development, it could be women's empowerment, it could be burnout reduction. That's a huge one that is trending right now is burnout reduction, hosting events. I did heavily before the pandemic, and I have since revamped the business model for that. And primarily, my goal in life is to leave the world somehow or another better than the way I found it. And if you were to ask me randomly, what type of impact do you want to make on the world? And honestly, my answer is going to be the same no matter what. It's if anybody has made any choice for their life as a result of something they heard me say, then I've done my work.
That's what's
That is
popping.
me.
That's
Yeah,
what's
that,
popping. Cause
yeah.
I I try my best to be a productive member of society, and like with this podcast, I try my best to put out good medicine, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if I could touch one listener, I won.
That's it. That's it. Game over.
Yeah.
That's it.
So when you started your business in 1999, did you know that's the area you wanted to go in? What was the catalyst for you starting your business?
I've always been a very bad employee. And what I mean by that, I would show up on time, but I would never stay because I didn't like the idea of someone telling me when I can go to work, when I can eat, when I can go pee, things like that. I did an excellent job. My spirit of excellence was there, but I would never stay. And I grew up in a household, and I was raised by an entrepreneur. My grandmother was the seamstress of the neighborhood, and people would come over and get their prom dresses made and alterations or whatever. And so that entrepreneurial spirit was passed down to me. Also, I won every speech contest that I've ever entered. So I've always been on stage. I'm in the performing arts. And I knew, like I knew that I knew, I wanted to have my own, and I knew that I wanted to be on a stage, but I wanted to make sure I had something of value to say. So in January, actually a couple of months before I officially started the business, someone at a church asked me to come and speak. And I'm like, all right, I didn't have like official training or anything. I just run my mouth. That's what I do. And so that's what I did. And then they gave me like $250. I was like, wait, like you could get paid for this?
Mm-hmm.
So let me do this then. Right now, that's when I started the business officially in January. That's what made me start the business, and the business was not profitable for at least a decade. So let me just go ahead and put that out there. It's not like you start a business and then you start making money, because I did not have the business wherewithal. I had to learn about web design, I had to learn about marketing, I had to learn about customer retention, I had to learn about CRM, all of this stuff. And it took some time, but that's what made me start my own business. I'm a terrible employee. Ah,
Thank thank God for SEO. Thank God
mm,
for Google ads. Thank God for
right.
Facebook ads. Thank God for email lists. Thank
Mm-hmm.
God for word of mouth.
That's right.
So how what is how has your business evolved from back in the day to now with the introduction of technology?
Oh my goodness, technology changed the game. It changed the game in a lot of ways. So there's always an evolution that happens, not just in business, but in life also. And as technology comes down the pipe, you have to learn how to use it to your advantage. There's some people who are afraid of technology. I embrace it because if you don't, it will destroy you. So I look back at some of the ads I used to place and some of my flyers. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I put that out there. You know, it's so amateurish and all of that. But technology like text messaging and when email came out and the internet and things like Wix or things where you can build your own website, but they already had, you know, the templates. YouTube University, I think everybody is a student in some way of YouTube University. You get to learn things, and I didn't have to pay thousands of dollars to learn the things I needed to learn to make technology work for me. So one of the biggest benefits that technology has done for me, Chat GPT has helped me to write copy for my Facebook ads.
Yes.
That I'm a writer. I have 13 books. I'm a writer, so I know how to write copy, but it's mentally exhausting. So what AI has done for me, I tell AI who I am, what my voice is, my quirky personality, the message I'm trying to get across, and I say, now do it. And it's just like, I'm like, yes, hunty. I may change a word or two here or there. And I tell Chat GPT, make sure this is in compliance with Facebook regulations, and it already knows that stuff. So that is how technology has really helped me. Even when I was doing events, the ticket sales, I'm able to use like Eventbrite. They have different channels that you can use, and it'll do marketing to people who actually attend events like yours and market on your behalf. I don't know these people, but Eventbrite knows them. So if you know how to use technology to your advantage, then there's nothing to be afraid of.
Pay yourself before you go. Pay yourself when you get there. Sell books and pay yourself when you leave.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I like getting paid. Money is not a dirty word.
Man, Legal Hustle. I only have one book, but I have two others done. I just haven't published them yet. But hey, salute to you on the 13 books. And
Thank you.
it's a good thing that you using Chat GTP 4 as a
Mm-hmm.
tool instead of a crutch.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you
And
rely too heavily on it, you tend to lose who you are in it. And Chat GPT kind of takes over and tells you who you are as opposed to you telling it. And I don't use it for everything. There's some things I would like to be really organic, but there are times, Rod, as I am just mentally and emotionally exhausted. I'm like, I don't feel like writing this copy. I don't feel like writing this email, but it still has to get done. So that's when I go to Chat GPT and say, I need you to do this for me.
so at times, do you ever feel like, hey, I wish I had another body right now that could do everything that you could do?
Absolutely. I did have two assistants, and then the pandemic hit and everything changed. But yeah, absolutely. I wish. So, what I started doing is time blocking. I designate very specific times to do very specific tasks. I turn the phone off, all of that beep, 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 all the messaging and all of that. I don't get distracted by that. And I compose all of my emails for the next month. I compose all of my Facebook ads. I set aside time to look at the analytics and see what I need to adjust. I set aside time specifically to design the stuff in Canva. I even set aside time just to sit and do nothing.
You need
I,
that self time.
yeah,
You need it.
absolutely.
So,
Yep.
how important are analytics? I try to talk to people about analytics, and for some reason they just don't understand. They push out organic, 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 and I try to say to people like, okay, people go to Burger King, people go to McDonald's, but it's people that's never eaten there before. They have money, they establish, they run ads because, it might be a new product.
Absolutely. So you can be organic um, and look at the analytics. So data is queen. The data does not lie to you. I want a relationship where I'm not lied to. So when you look
Exactly.
at the data tells you, Erica, this ad isn't working. The data tells you, okay, most of the people who open your ad are women between the ages of 35 and 53. The data tells me that this language that I use is not really reaching people. Analytics is crucial if you are talking about moving whatever it is that you have forward. If the goal is to reach more people, is to earn more money, ignoring the analytics is asinine. Why would you do that? I don't make a move without looking at the data because the data tells me what my next move is.
Right. You can't do a speaking engagement in New York if nobody knows who you are.
This is what I'm saying. Even when people reach out to me to speak, there's some data I'm going to need. Who's your audience? Is it mostly male, female? Who is the affinity group within the organization that's putting on this event? Have you had this event before? Have you had speakers before? What did you like about them? What did you dislike about them? How long is the presentation going to be? Is the company having any issues right now that you want to address? Are there any caveats I need to be aware of? Has anything happened on campus that you need me to address or you want me to stay away from? Is there any jargon that you all use that you want me to implement? All of that information and then some. And that's just right off the top of my head. And I'm able to do it like that because I've been doing this for a minute, but that's data. And I'm able to analyze that and go, okay, yep, this is going to work out great. I know exactly what to say. I know how to say it. I know what images to use. I know what exercises that's going to be fantastic for you. And the one sentence I say to anybody who's considering me to bring me in to speak, I say their name. I'll say, Rodis, I'm going to make you look like a rock star. Everybody's going to be asking you, who brought Erica Gilchrist in? And you're going to say, yep, that was me. They love it. And I deliver on that. I make them look like a rock star. So
I
data
believe
is
you.
queen.
Yes, it is. So, who are some of your role models growing up, Miss Gilchrist?
Growing up with my grandmother, definitely the woman who raised me. That's my father's mother. Her entrepreneurial spirit was always there. And at the time, I didn't know she was an entrepreneur. I mean, all I know is all these people showed up at our house to get clothes. I didn't know that's what she was doing, but it kind of got ingrained in me. And one thing she said to me, and to this day, I'm incredibly grateful. Sometimes it brings me to tears. She said, baby, the best thing I can do for you is to teach you how to not need me because I'm not always going to be here. And that's what she did. She taught me how to be very independent and how to stand on my own. So she is my number one. Now, if we're talking about while we're growing up, there were some teachers who I still stay in touch with on Facebook who were very instrumental in helping me embrace the weirdness because that was like a nickname for me growing up and I didn't mind it. It was just the way I was. Some teachers and maybe one other family member, but honestly, I was kind of in my own world. If I can go ahead and just say that,
Right.
there wasn't a whole lot of people who influenced me growing up. Now, as an adult, once I became a business owner, then I had different role models. So it
Right.
really just depends on what phase of my life we're talking about.
Okay. That's cool. So you said like during the pandemic, your business kind of struggled. So how did you adapt or adjust? Did you do speaking engagements virtually through your website to keep people abreast of what you had going on? What did you
Yes.
do?
So first of all, I want to say that the pandemic kind of damaged the business would be the understatement of the century. It tanked. In February of 2020, we're only talking about the second month of the year. I had a six-figure speaking tour booked, deposits made for the whole year. And it was only February. I was just getting started. 3 weeks later, it went away without my permission. Everybody was scrambling. Nobody knew what to do. So The first thing I did once I got all the emails and the phone calls, cancel, 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 I allowed myself to feel the grief of the loss that I experienced because I invested a lot of time, I invested a lot of money to position myself. And when it went away, it was a lot of grief. I went back to therapy. I don't mind saying that. I was like, girl, I need some help because mentally and emotionally, I was like, I don't even know how to deal with this. This has never happened to me before. And I didn't have a plan B. My business was supposed, to be the thing I'm going to ride out for the rest of my life. So that's the first part of it. The second part, yeah, I did make some pivots to virtual, and I learned how to be very impactful on a virtual level. There's nothing like being in person, but when you dealing with what is, and that's what we were doing, I had to bring it virtually. So that meant, there was a lot of interaction I had to do. I did a lot of live polls. I had to do a lot of reactions on the screen. I had to have them, okay, raise your hands and shake them. Let me know that you're here, that kind of thing. So there's a lot more engagement on that. I eliminated the events part of the business because people weren't showing up. Sometimes people still, it's just now starting to come back. But at the time, I didn't want to put good money after bad. And I also decided that's when I learned Facebook algorithms. And I actually took class and got certified and that kind of stuff so that I wouldn't have to work as hard. Because a lot of my presentations came from being in person. When people see me in person, they're like, yeah, I want
Yeah,
you. But
she's the
now I'm not
one.
in person anymore.
Right.
So now I needed to figure out a way to get in front of people without getting in front of them. So those were some ways I had to pivot the business. And then I got really deep into investing. I do a lot of crypto investing. I am into stocks. I know how to read charts and all of that. It was just something I've always wanted to do, but the pandemic kind of set me up to like, yeah, you're going to need
I
a plan
need
B.
to exercise having a couple of portfolio.
Yeah, multiple streams of income, multiple. Yes. And yes.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yes,
You
yes.
know what? I'm gonna I'll tell you a lesson. This just came to me. A
Okay.
lesson that I had to learn in business is I had to learn how to emotionally detach myself from outcomes. And what I mean by that is, so if someone reaches out to me and says, hey, we're having a conference and the conference is the right audience, I love it. And the money is right. And it's in a city that I enjoy and the date works out. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I want this gig. I had to learn how to emotionally detach myself from the outcome. If I get it, that's great. If I don't, that's okay too. That was a very hard lesson for me to learn because if I'm emotionally attached to the outcome and I do everything I can to get the desired outcome and it does not happen, then I'm devastated. And when I'm devastated, I really don't function that well when I'm devastated. Like it's stuff mechanical that you can do to get through the day, but to be really productive, I am not that productive when I'm devastated. So when I totally disconnected that emotion to the outcome, things happen and I'm just like, yes, it's a lot less stressful that way. The most you can never do is the very best you can, and nobody can ever ask you to do more than the best you can. So if I've done the best I can and I still don't get it, all right, my
Eh,
favorite 4-letter word is next. Move on to the next
wow.
one.
Next. I
Next.
tried. All you could do is do your best.
That's it.
If you
That's
know you
it.
done your best, then that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And usually you will
absolutely.
have good results. It's not your fault if somebody didn't promote the event properly.
Yeah.
They didn't tell
I've been to
nobody.
events in Valparaiso, Indiana. There was an event, nobody showed up. It wasn't my event. They invited me in to speak and nobody showed up. And
They
they were
didn't
like, I'm
tell
so
nobody.
sorry.
They didn't
I'm like,
tell nobody.
I was like, you know what? I don't know. As long as the check clear,
I didn't have to drive 2 hours.
I showed up. And that there, and I've had events where there were 3 people, who were there, the whatever. It doesn't matter. But I tell you what, with 3 people in the room, I act like it was 3,000.
That's what you got to do. And sometimes those small crowds, you get a lot of good conversation. You
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of good leads because those people they understand your value and the importance to come and hear you speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a good thing. All right. So let me see. Have you ever lived anywhere other than Chicago?
Yes, I lived in Arizona and I lived in Michigan. I currently live in Indiana. I've been living in Indiana 16 years now, but I mean, it's
Well,
still the Chicagoland area,
well,
right?
that's smart because it's low taxes.
Mm. And if I need to get to the city, I can still get to the city in 20 minutes. Yeah, there you go. But I have
And,
lived in other places.
and on a ghetto note, you won't miss the food.
Yes, auntie. I still want my hero salt, pepper, mild sauce, not mild, mild, mild sauce.
Man,
You know
I
how we
remember
pronounce it.
my first semester home in college. I wanted a half white Harold's with mild sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I needed that,
You
you
get
know.
spoiled growing up in Chicago with food. Like I go to other places, I'm like, this all y'all got? Come on
I'm
now.
like, man, y'all ain't got no Italian beefs. Y'all
Beef, come on
pizza
with it. Y'all
suck.
call this pizza? What is this? Yeah,
This is not barbecue.
that's right. Exactly. Chicago spoils you. It spoils you. And that's okay. I'd rather grow up in a big city and go to someplace small than the other way around.
Exactly. I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, would you like to have some fun, Miss
Let's
Gilchrist?
go. Let's go. I like fun.
We have a game that we play. Shout out to Coffee with Kendra. She made up this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Fuck, Mary Kill. So you will
Okay.
get three people, and you
Uh-huh.
tell me which one you will fuck, which one would you marry, which one you would kill, and this is all in the name of fun.
Okay. All
So
right, y'all. Don't cancel me now.
you won't get canceled. So it's 6 rounds.
Okay.
So the first round is Eldebarge, LeBron James, and D'Angelo.
Okay. So the first round is El DeBarge, LeBron James, and D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Let me see. I would marry LeBron. Um, I'd fuck D'Angelo. And I guess that means I have to kill El DeBarge.
Hey, I hear you. You gotta kill him. You ready for the second round?
Let's go. I want to make sure I don't forget these names. Let's get it.
Lorenz Tate, 50 Cent, and the late great Tupac Shakur.
Mm. All right. I would marry 50. I'd fuck Tupac and I'd kill Lorenz.
Okay. The rounds keep getting harder.
Let's
Pause.
go.
Denzel Washington, LL Cool J, and Blair Underwood.
Okay. So I would marry LL. No, I take that back. I take it back. I would marry Denzel. Um, I'd fuck LL and I'd kill Blair.
Okay. I'll be laughing because they change up all the time. So okay. Common, Tyrese, and JoJo from Jodeci.
Okay, well, who's the first one?
Common,
Common,
Tyrese,
Tyrese,
and JoJo from Jodeci.
from Jodeci.
Mhm.
Fuck Common. Um, I guess I'd marry Tyrese and kill JoJo.
Okay. Method Man, Eric Benet, and Barack Obama.
Marry Barack. I would kill Eric B and fuck Method.
Okay. All right. The last one. Da-da-da-da.
Let's go.
Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson, and Penny Hardaway.
Um, Let me see. It's hard to say kill Dwayne Wade because I know his mother very well. So no, I ain't gonna kill him.
Right.
So I'll marry him.
Man, don't we know his mom very well?
Yeah, we not gonna do that. So I'll marry Dwayne. Okay. Um, so I'd fuck Allen Iverson and then kill pennies. There we go.
Okay, that's what's popping. All
Yeah.
right, so I want to ask you this. What is your favorite hip hop album of all time?
Hip hop album.
Yeah.
Oh wow. You know it's gonna be something from like the 80s, because I'm an 80s baby. Man, hip hop album. Probably something from Public Enemy. Which Public Enemy one? I don't know. Because I honestly don't remember the names of the album.
I
So let's go
feel
with the first one. Whatever the first Public Enemy album was, let's go with that.
you. Fight the power.
Let's go.
That's what's popping. So, if you could leave anything with the listeners of Riders Live, what would
Mhm.
it be?
I want you to know and understand that people are jealous of what you have, but they're not jealous of how you got it. Everybody wants what you have, but they don't want to do the work and the shit that you put in order to get it. So, having said all of that, when you have haters, consider it a good thing. Because if you didn't have anything to hate, then haters would not show up. So, embrace those who are hating on you. It's okay. That means you got something. You're doing something with your life to warrant envy of other people. I want to leave you with one more if I can, because it's just popped up in my head.
You can.
Let's go. Imposter syndrome shows up when you level up. Imposter syndrome, that feeling of like, who am I to really be this great? Or, am I really going to be able, to do this or whatever? That shows up when you level up, because you decide for yourself, I want something better than this. When imposter syndrome shows up, I think it gets a really bad rap. I like it when it shows up, because that tells me that I'm on to something. And what I do is I go nose to nose. I look at it straight in the face. I recognize it for what it is. Then I tell it to kick rocks. I see you. I know why you're here. Now get the fuck out of my face.
Ex-
Imposter syndrome shows up when you level up.
exactly. And you don't even have to say a word.
That's it.
Okay. Where can people reach you and find you for booking, speaking engagements?
Yeah, absolutely. Erica Gilchrist. I'm gonna spell my name. So it's Erika, Erica with a K. And my last name is spelled Gil Christ. So Gil, C is in cat, HRIS is in snow, T is in tree.com. And by the way, on social media, everything on social media is my name. There ain't no way you can get around not finding me. Somebody owed me money once. Like, I didn't know how to get in touch with you. You know how to find me when you wanted the money. But Erica Gilchrist.com is the best possible way. So if you want to mail me something, my address is there. If you want to call me, my phone number is there. If you need to email me, my email is there. If you want to book me, the booking page is there.
That's what's popping. This has been another episode of Riders Live, and I thank you for coming through. It's been a good time as always. Peace.
Out.